Well, hello everybody. Danny back from Deep South Homestead on our porch talk today. Guys, I hope y'all have been enjoying the weather. You know, there's been a lot of really pleasant weather across the country I've been looking at. Now, there's been some places it's been raining and storming and stuff, but there has been some really nice, cool mornings, especially in the southern part of the country. Something we just haven't had, and it's really nice to be able to wake up in the morning. This morning was like 54 degrees here. Felt good. The day before the high was 90, and to drop to 54, that's a pretty drastic drop, you know. But I got up and thoroughly enjoyed the morning. Literally enjoyed the day, honestly. The day never got, today never got too hot. You know, this is on a Sunday. It never got too hot today. I was out just enjoying the life that the Lord has blessed us with here. And not really involved in a whole lot today. Just kind of pondering stuff and thinking about things and just enjoying, you know, maybe picking up some pecans and just, you know, just enjoying life basically. And when you're doing that kind of stuff, you know, your mind really begins to wander in all kinds of directions because you're not really involved in any one project that's taking up your intellect. And as I looked around and I thought, I came in briefly, sat down, picked up the computer and turned it on, and guys, I saw like 5 shootings this week in the country, you know, massive shootings, you know. And then in my recommended come up police officers that have been fatally shot and all this kind of stuff over the past several years. And I'm like, what is going on here? I was like, I don't want this, you know. And so I just turned it off and put it up and went back outside and sat down in my swing and just sitting there swinging. And I got to thinking, I was like, you know, the scriptures is really, we're really in the times that Matthew 24 talks about, where it says the love of many will wax cold. You know, that, not necessarily that passage where it says it, but it talks about the end time events in Matthew 24. And we know that one of the end time events is that the love of many will wax cold. And then we look at the last commandment that Christ left us. He said, this commandment I leave you, and he did this before he left to go back to heaven, was that we are to love one another as he loved us. And yet, that's what he told us to do. And yet, one of the signs of the end of time is that the love of many will wax cold. Even amongst families, you know, friendships, everything. Relationships, husbands and wives, fathers and mothers. The Bible teaches, it tells us, you know, that to be mothers against daughters and fathers against sons, and I mean it just goes on and mention all the things that's going to happen. And then there's one passage in there that mentions 21 different things that will happen in the end time, and you sit back and you're like, man. And I've mentioned this before, I'm like, I just don't know if I know God put me here because he knows this is where I belong at this time. But guys, I don't know if y'all are like me. I just yearn. I literally yearn for the simple life that we used to know. Those of us that are older used to know. Not necessarily trying to say the good old days. I'm trying to say a simpler life. I mean, I do a podcast, and on that podcast, it's called Living a Simpler Life, you know? And I don't know if it's possible anymore. I went around today just trying my best to keep a clear conscience. And guys, honestly, the stuff kept popping into my head about different events that's going on in the world. I mean, Trump's trying to create a peace deal in the Middle East, and they're fussing about who won the Nobel Prize or whatever it was that they had out there. And I mean, just this country's in war against this country, and the drugs is coming into everything everywhere, and I mean, it was just all the shootings going on and everything. And I'm like, Lord, how can we, in these last days, how can we not focus on these things when we're just bombarded with them day in and day out? If we turn on anything to look at anything, I don't watch TV, but if I pull up my laptop and look at it, I mean, it's on the laptop in the recommendeds and stuff like this, and I don't want to see that. I try to block as much of it as I can, and I'm sitting here going, Lord, is it possible? You know, we look over into the book of Job, and when Job was going through the trials and tribulations of life that he was going through, Job said, man's troubles are like the sparks of a fire that fly upward. Or if you ever been out and had a bonfire at night, and you throw a big old piece of wood on a bonfire, and all them red embers just way up into the air up in there. Job says, that's the way a man's troubles is going to be on this earth. It's just like those embers is going up. It's going to be too many to count. And boy, is he right. It seems like every time we turn around, there's just something wrong. It would be great to hear the news talk about something good. But I can't honestly say that I've heard the news say anything good. Because, I mean, I really don't watch the news, but I get, what do you call it? Shorts? Is that what you call it? Shorts on what comes up on your computer there of different news clips and stuff like that. And then, honestly, I don't think I can remember a good one. You know, I mean, Wanda kind of gets hilarious with me and kind of laughs at me because lots of times I just pull on, I pull up things that has to do with laughing and pulling jokes on people and pranks and stuff like that because I'm tired. I am literally tired of sitting down and watching the world trying to solve problems that only Jesus Christ himself can solve, you know? And I don't know. I yearn for those days. Yeah, I do. And here I get up this morning and it's nice and cool. I put Lucy on the Ranger with me, and we just take off and we just ride. You know, she loves to ride, and we're going along there and get up to the pecan trees, and boy, there's 2 squirrels in the pecan trees, and boy, she comes out of that Ranger just flying, you know. And I always keep my gun with me, so I pop both of them down out of the trees, and she literally, I watched that dog with them squirrels, because one of them I just crippled him. That dog had the most fun with those squirrels. She would run and play with them things, and she don't eat them, she just runs and plays with them, and just has a good time. She loves to do what she's bred to do, and that's to hunt for something. Now she's still in her puppy stage, you know, I mean, she's still learning a lot of things, and we have to, it's kind of tough overlooking some of those things sometimes, but I watch her as she's running and playing and having a good time, and I think to myself, why can't we as humans enjoy life that carefree, you know? Most of us are burdened down with financial responsibilities, physical responsibilities, some of us emotional responsibilities because our children have not done what they ought to do. We raised them a particular way, and they went to college and got indoctrinated by the devil himself, you know, and now they're off into left field, and we thought we was doing the right thing by sending them to college to get a better education, which is a joke. I'll be honest with you about that. That's just a joke. All these degrees and stuff like that, they're all jokes. If you ever go talk to the corporate people, they'll tell you right up front that the only reason that they hire somebody who has a degree is because it just means to them that they're capable of finishing a project once they start it, you know. And I've talked to CEOs of banks and stuff like that and asked them, And that's what they tell me. But you can't, it doesn't seem like you can get anywhere in the world today, and they've made it that way on purpose, where a person can't get anywhere in life if they don't have a degree. And to get that degree, you've got to go to a college, and you've got to be indoctrinated by the world's standards, so to say. And the scripture tells us that if we're part of the world, then we're not part of the Lord. And we have to understand, for us to be friends with the world means we got to be enemies with God. And that's why I refuse to be friends with the world. I'm just not. Lots of people tell me, I'm not afraid to admit it. Lots of people tell me I'm a very cold-hearted person. And when really I'm not. But I am when it comes toward world views on things. I'm a black and white person. I think everything to me is black and white. Some people see the world in areas that are gray and stuff. I don't see the world in gray areas. To me, it's black and white. And I believe the scriptures shows it to be black and white myself. And lots of people don't like me because of that. And I know that. And it doesn't bother me, because the Bible tells me if I'm friends with the world, then that means I'm enemies with God. So I would whole lots rather be closer to God and not worry about what happens in the world, or worry about what people in the world think about me or anything like that. The only one in this world who I worry about what they think about me is the Father himself. Because, like I've mentioned before, when I get to the end of my journey, all I want to do is hear, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." That's why you don't hear me sitting back and when I say something saying, "God bless," God bless. That don't cut it with me, because what that tells me is you're afraid to go ahead and step out and say some pretty candid things about God. In other words, you're scared to tell the truth. And you figure you can get away with like a rabbit's foot with God by saying, "Well, God bless you," You ever stop and think about there's a lot of gods? There's only one true living God. But there's a lot of gods out there. And people go, "No, there's not." Well, if there's not, then answer this one question for me. Why did God in the Ten Commandments say, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me"? If there's no other gods, then why does he say that? He can't lie. Which means there's other gods. But there are only one true living God. Now stop and think about that one. Lots of people don't stop to think about all the different gods there are in this world. Anything that you put before your heavenly Father is a god to you. Some people, it's their vehicles. I have seen people, oh my goodness, I have seen people, they baby their vehicles like they're going to take them to heaven with them. It's a freaking piece of equipment that literally is made to be used and wear out and get another one. Me and Wanda have a running joke about my truck. I told her, I always tell everybody, I always tell them, I say, I wash my truck once a year, whether it needs it or not. And I don't worry about it, because I don't worship it. It's just a piece of equipment to me. It gets me from point A to point B. Now I do maintenance on it and I try to take care of it. I don't try to abuse it or anything like that, because I want to be a good steward of what the Lord has blessed me with. But I'm not going to waste my time in life, because I only have so many hours in life to live. And I'm not going to waste my time out here polishing and waxing and all that kind of stuff so that it looks pristine and all that kind of stuff. I'll take a water hose and wash it off and scrub it a little bit, and I'm like, okay, you're good to go. You're going to get dirty because the road's dusty going out. You know what I mean? I'm just not going to worry about it. Because the time I spend doing something like that means nothing in the kingdom of heaven, I could be doing something that is beneficial not only to the Lord, but to my family or something. That is how I see life. To me, everything on life in this world is just a tangible object. I've never worshipped the homes that I've lived in. I mean, I have a very nice home. I have a very nice camp, and I have a couple of other very nice homes. But to me, they're just houses. I don't worship them. I thank the Lord every day of my life that He has given them to me and put them in my care, and that they keep me with a roof over my head. I thank the Lord when He puts food on my table, when my gardens produce and they're productive. I thank the Lord for that, just simply because He's been good to me. And the one thing that we have to understand with our Heavenly Father is the simple fact that He literally loves it when we are thankful to Him. Boy, that sunshine comes right through that window right there. He is thankful. When we're thankful, He will bless us when we're thankful. One of the things that's a definite sign of the end of times that says men are unthankful, unholy, lovers of pleasure, more than lovers of God, and that's where we're at. I was talking to a young guy this past week. We were talking about different books in the Bible, and he told me, he said, man, Romans is my favorite, and I told him, I said, brother, I got to agree with you. As a matter of fact, the first chapter of Romans is my favorite of most of the Bible. The first chapter of Romans explains the whole world we're living in right now. And the situations we're facing right now in this world. Romans chapter 1 deals with every bit of it. And he said, yes, sir, Mr. Danny. He said, you are right. You are right. And I don't know, guys. I am actively trying my best to figure out how to live a simpler life, and one that's Christ-honoring, one that I'm not tangled up in the affairs of this world. Now, I am fortunate enough that I've been retired for, oh my goodness, I retired in 2010. When my wife had cancer and I knew she was going to pass. I was 49 years old and I retired. I said, Lord, I may never have nothing as long as I live. But life is short, because my wife died at 49 years old. And I said, life is so short. You are correct when you said that we're like a vapor. We're here and then all of a sudden we're just gone. We're here for a short period of time. And I said, Lord, all I'm doing is out here running these companies of mine. I'm busting my tail, working 12 to 16 hours a day, and all for what? For financial gain? Literally. And I said, Father, I'm stopping. I'm shutting it down. I've paid for everything that I own at that time. I've been a good steward with what the Lord blessed me with. And I didn't, like I've mentioned to y'all, I didn't go on trips and vacations and go partying and to the movies and all that kind of stuff. I paid my debts. I paid off all my debts. My home was number one. I mean, I did the Dave Ramsey thing, if you want to call it that. I've actually taught Dave Ramsey's courses before. And I did the snowball debt thing. And I just quit. I quit drinking drinks. I went to drinking nothing but water, and I took every dime that I was going to be spending on something else, and I put it toward the debt that had the highest interest rate. And when I got that paid for, I took every dime I was putting toward that and put it toward the next thing. And guys, I'm going to tell you what, in 7 years, I paid off several $100,000 debts. Just simply by just watching what I did with my finances. Which made it, 49 years old, I closed down everything and said, Lord, it's just you and me now. My wife passed away. I had no job, no income. Everything I had was paid for. And I said, Lord, it's just us now. I don't know what we're going to do. And I would pick up a little piddle job here and a little piddle there, but I mainly just started doing what I wanted to do. I started living. And I've been doing that very same thing up until today. Just this past week, I went and did a job for a guy. And I did not accept money for the job because money means nothing to me. What I did accept, he had 2 pieces of equipment that he was willing to trade for the work that I'd done for him. I told him, I says, I will take that and that if you're willing to trade for it, for the job that I did for you. And he said, well, yeah. He said, I'll be more than happy. I'm never going to use that again. So I accepted that rather than money. That's what I love doing. And when you love what you're doing, it's not work. Now, it took me 6 hours to do what I did. But to me, that 6 hours flew by so fast, I didn't even think about it. And I loved what I did. And what I got from it was 2 pieces of equipment. Now, will I ever use them? I don't know, because I don't even know what one of them is. I mean, I have a clue about what it is. I'm going to do a video and I'm going to ask a lot of you guys, have you ever seen one? I went online, I couldn't find them. I have an idea about what they are and how they can be used, but I don't know. So I'm going to be asking. I just saw them laying in the woods, and I said, can I have that? And he said, well, yeah, take it. And I said, okay, I'm happy with that. He said, if you're happy, I'm happy. And I said, yes, sir, I'll take that. I sure will. He said, well, I said, what is it? He said, I don't know. I said, well, that makes 2 of us, you know? So that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get back in my personal life to not doing the rat race. Now, yes, we do YouTube. And YouTube is guys, if you only knew how time consuming YouTube is, it would blow your mind. By the time I set a camera up, by the time I shoot a video, and it takes me 2 to 3 times, 4 times as long to do a job, trying to film it, and then Wanda has to take it and edit it for I don't know how long, and then it's got to be uploaded before it can ever be approved by YouTube. It takes several hours just to do one video. Many hours to do one video. Not to mention all the equipment you got to buy to do it with. But for Wanda and I right now in our life, now I'm probably not going to do this forever, but for right now in our life, it's a labor of love. Like Porch Time here today. This is a labor of love. I love the time I get to spend with you guys, because let me put it to you this way. 99% of the stuff that I say to you guys, like on Porch Time, I'm actually talking to myself. Because I'm sometimes struggling with issues and I'm talking to myself. And I film it and let you all listen to it. And lots of times y'all tell me how it's blessed y'all. Because I struggle in things in life just like you do. I mean, I put my pants on one leg at a time. I ain't no different than nobody else. But I love doing what I do. And when I love doing what I do, it's not work. I mean, if that makes sense. So I just wanted to shoot a little video today on Porch Time. Nothing fancy, nothing spectacular. I just wanted to share with you, do y'all feel like I do that you just want to live a simpler life? You're tired of the rat race in this world, and you just want to get back to the simpler things in life, guys. That's all I want. And that's what I hope will bless you guys too. Thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.